Give it up. Give what up? Give it up. I don't know why I said that. Give it up for something. Random thoughts. I just like to say the first thing that comes into my head when I start a live stream. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't, even to me. But I like that. It's a way of starting a live stream. It's just like random stuff, and then I can start explaining things. Right. I've come on the live stream to show something that I'm just working on in a project, which is the problem of, play this. It sounds all right. Hello, G. How you doing, G? What's up? I'm in the final stages of mixing this tune. I've solved all the other most apparent the problems that were most bugging me. I've made the builds better and stuff like that, but there's still, for me, there's not enough clarity in the side chaining. So whenever there's a kick, it's ducking the entire group. It's ducking the entire bass. There's like several bass variations here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me right now to solve this. Oh, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that I've got to go into, possibly even 8 serum patches. I've got to, on all of them, there's a sub that already goes through a direct out. But because, so it's quite clean anyway and controlled. But I can't side chain it because serum doesn't have a separate output. It just has an output that it outputs it all together through the output, even though it says direct out. It just bypasses the effects section. Even if it did have a direct out, I'd still have to do some funny routing, and it would still take that bass away from this. So on each channel there is actually an amp simulator, which when you feed, let me demonstrate this. So there's the bass sound. If we turn off the sub, we hear this. But when we turn the sub back on, and that's going through an amp sim, right? So there's a bit of distortion and sort of tonal shaping, as if it's being put through an amp and oh no, not a cabinet, just an amp. But if we turn the sub back on, you can't hear it, but that sub, well, you might be able to hear it actually. That sub is influencing, the sub and the high end are both going into this amp sim, and so that sub will be affecting the shape of the tone that comes out. So I can't just turn the sub off and then duplicate all these for serum and just turn the sub back on. It won't sound the same. So what I've got to do is high pass everything and duplicate all the tracks. High pass it with the sub in on each one because the sub is going through this, and that's the only way I'm going to keep the sound that I've got now, but have a separate sub that I can have like total control over, so it works with the kick. And this, I believe, is the way. I mean, there's lots of ways of doing it, but the best, if you want your sine waves below like 100 hertz to be perfect. So they all run into each other and none of them overlap, can phase with each other. You'll have the clearest sounding low end possible. There isn't really, it can't really technically get any clearer. I think some clarity obviously comes from all the frequencies above it, but if you want to make those low end frequencies really work together, you don't want any phasing. And transients in the high end are also it's like right now that's a different problem. Right now I'm just going to focus on sorting these low end ones out, and it means labor. It's an engineering task. It's not so much creative at this point, but I thought I'd come on and just show this because it's got to be done for this track. I'm never happy, and sometimes it just works out. Sometimes you can do a sidechain on the bass, mids and subs all in one, like this. I'll show you the ducks. I've tweaked these as best as possible, but they're quite strong dips. -28, -54. I've tried pulling them up a bit. Early when I started, like today, these were only at like -5, -6 or -8, and that's quite nice because you still get a dip, preserves some of the transient better, but it wasn't enough to stop the phasing of the sub. So you have to be like this, at least this drastic. It was -28 dB. But that's taken away of the some of the power in this like power lead bass. So it's going it's fading a bit too much for my liking. So yeah, that's the creative. I'm making a judgment there, saying I only want this to dip -4-ish dB for the mid bass, because that sounds quite good. It gets out of the way for the kick and the snare rim. There's the kick, there's the snare. I'm going to put these back up, but for the subgroup which I'm about to create, and it's going to involve 8 more instances of serum. That's actually the quick way of doing it. There might be a more processor friendly way of doing it, but I have processor, so I can do it. And this is how I usually do it as well, to be fair. Right, so what's this? Bass. There is already a bass group created. Maybe I, in a previous project, foresaw this might happen. But I usually put everything in a bass group anyway. The else is literally everything else bar the drums, and that I almost always put a duck on that, 2 side chains on that for kick and a snare, and sometimes it's only a few dB, and it just makes a bit of a difference to all the sounds. Subtle is the sort of the way I'm doing it these days. All right, Delinquent Citizen in the club right now, so can't hear, but want to say I haven't been anywhere because of uni. Oh, good to see you, Toby. Uni, yeah, you've been busy in uni. Good on you, mate. Block me again. No, Delinquent Citizen. Block you again. You were never blocked, Delinquent Citizen. Don't know why you would think that. Yes, one ho. We're good. Right, so we're going to continue with this. How are you? So, sip of my brew because it's thirsty work. My wife made me a brew before, decaf brew, because I'm not one of those people who likes any more reasons to stay awake at night. And then she goes upstairs and then comes back down saying, "Don't drink the brew." She'd put caffeinated tea bags in by accident, which is great if it was the morning. It's not the morning. It's last thing at night. So she poured it away, and I was like, "Are you not going to make another one?" She's like, "No." I'm like, well, I'm a bit high and dry here without this brew. Anyway, so I've made one because I'm thirsty. Anyway, cheers. So are we actually streaming? Yeah, we are. We are streaming, not with a cold, but with good things. I've had enough colds this winter. Done with it. Like actually, fucking done with it. I'm used. I guess I'm used to it. It's probably the track of the track live of the flip of your track. Of the flip of your track. All right, nice one. I can't even think what is that? Oh no, I still can't think. No. Yes, please, send me them. Um, that would be much appreciated, mate. Yeah. Looking forward to that already. Right, so the way to do this is what took me a long time to learn. Like the steps you have to take to solve this problem. When you realize how important the problem is, though, and how it's worth solving, and so you just it's a sequence of steps. It's quite straightforward. But if you've got 8 tracks, it's going to take longer, you know. But you can get quick at it if you get good at Ableton. It's well worth doing. So, so we've got all the bases in there that we want to duplicate. I've saved the project. Now we're going to duplicate. I don't normally do it like this, but we're going to duplicate the entire everything in this group, and we're going to put it above the else. Seeing how it's taking ages. 8 copies of 7 copies of serum going in there now. They're all going to pop up now. Oh, one has. Weirdly, only one I did. Right, so these are the this is just going to be called subs, and this is going to have, it's going to turn all this off. For starters, it's going to have there's going to be no processing whatsoever. All it's keeping is any what do you call it? Any automation, any LFO, LFO rates, and if there is any automation. I don't think I've got any automation on the bass on this project. So we'll just delete all this. This is worth deleting because it will help the project load up faster next time, and it will use less memory, it'll bounce faster. See, the length of time, it only takes a second for it to actually delete once I've selected and pressed the delete button. But that's just an indication of how many seconds, if you add all those seconds up, that's how long it takes to actually load the project. I think roughly that's kind of right. Right. So we've got our first sub, let's just listen to it. Oh, no. So next thing we need to do is go into each serum and turn off everything but sub. You won't hear it. So as you can see, that's a 16th sine wave kind of shape, and that's controlling the sub level. Yeah, and that's the only thing that's been altered. So it's just all this patch is now, I've turned everything off. It's just a sub, no effects, and this 16th LFO controlling the level. So we've got that. I'm going to go to track 2, or the second one, do the same thing. This is also, this is a 16th dotted. So, you know, this is why I could just have one serum and carefully go automate and automate the rate. But why? Because it's not really. There's no disadvantage to having lots of tracks for serum. If they're not all playing at once, that'll be then it's not a processor problem. It's a memory problem having like a million tracks, and the loading times take longer. So again, we've done the same with this. The filter's not in use because it's going direct out. Next one. Oh, of course it's you. That's not your name. That's not your name, though, is it? I always wondered. I didn't know that was you. You sampled the electron field. Ah, that's awesome. Nice. I can't remember what was your name on. What's your producer name? I can't remember. Right, that's all off. So it's just the sub again, and that one's a 1/16th one. So they're basically the same, those two. Bloody hell, that baby. Off, off. And this is quite quick. See what I mean? It is just a sequence of steps. That's just the noise, that one. And that one, oh, there is something in there. That noise, turn it off. And this one is turn it off, turn it off. So yeah, you won't, if you're on a phone speaker, you won't hear any of these now, because these are below. The highest is like 100 hertz or so. So for club frequencies, or if you've got a hi-fi at home, or headphones or earphones, of course. Tom, yes, Spotify, Terrapastel, Spotify. When was the last track I uploaded? There was the end October last year, and then I've slightly taken a different mission. I was doing one track per month, and now I've done a side quest since October, and I'm producing. I've got like a lot of dubstep on the way. Oh no, the baby is crying. It's a disaster for this sequence of events. No. Oh, I'm gonna have to end this bloody live stream. Right. Sorry everyone. I've got to go. That's this was unlikely to happen, but it happened. Right, sorry, I'm gonna have to continue this another time.